Has got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Overnight, Good Neighbor Talk turns to UFOs, aliens, the unknown. It's Coast to Coast AM overnight every night on WGNS Murfreesboro. The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is The Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome back into the Roundtable on this Wednesday here on WGNS. Up to 70 degrees already, at least, depending on whose phone you look at this morning as we were talking here in the studio before we got going. Chip Walters here from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates, and the Blue Raider Network. Glad to have you on this morning. And couple of times a year, we dedicate a show to racing, and today is one of those days. Joe Williams, who is just a local font of knowledge in racing, going back to our, the late 70s, early 80s, and he'll be the public address announcer out at Nashville Super Speedway for the Ally 400 and the weekend activities coming up there in just a week from Friday will be the truck race, the Xfinity race on Saturday, and, of course, the Ally 400 Cup race in prime time on Sunday at 6 p.m. And coming up at about 9:40, Matt Cruz, who is the CEO of the Music City Grand Prix, will join Joe and I. But first of all, we bring in Joe Williams, who is on the move today. And Joe, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing great, Chip. It is so good to be with you. It's kind of like I heard Ron Jordan a minute ago. It's kind of like an old Mooney Broadcasting reunion.
That's exactly right. Yeah, he was Ron was when you and I were working down on Division Street back in the early to mid '80s. Ron was doing middays on Y107, and
exactly.
And I was working some weekends doing some disc jockey shifts, and you were on Lucky 13 doing some sports talk, and we were all kind of interchangeable parts down there at the time.
I was going to say, we filled in for somebody who was filling in for somebody. Yeah, you remember that story.
Oh, exactly. And, and I think about our old crew down there back in that day, and, one of those who, every time I think about doing stuff on the radio, I miss our pal Skip Woolwine, who passed away a few years ago, and he was so active in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, which will be having their annual induction coming up early August, I think, this year, and they're going to have it down at the Mule House in Columbia. So nice. that'll be a big weekend in the radio world. I know you are on the road today, and I think I told you sent me a message to hand off to Mayor McFarland a few moments ago, and he thought your idea was great. So we'll see. I'll make sure I send that along to him. He agreed with you 100%. So that's a little inside baseball there, but it is what it is. Originally, Norm Parton was going to join us like he did. We do this about every 6 months. We kind of get a little update. We had a little hot stove league talk back, I guess whenever it was, December or whatever. And now we're coming up on the biggest 6 weeks or so, 5 or 6 weeks of racing in Middle Tennessee, because you've got the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and the Craftsman Truck Series, or the Camping World Truck Series coming in to Nashville Super Speedway, and then you have the Indy cars coming in the first weekend of August, and Matt has all the information on that. But if you're a race fan, this is your time of year. We're deep enough into the NASCAR series, I think 16 races or so, that all the storylines are starting to get evolving, and of course you've got some the crown jewel events here in the mid-state with these 2 weekends coming up.
I tell you what, there's so much racing that goes on in Middle Tennessee that doesn't get recognized sometimes. But for this 6 weeks, it's at the front of everybody's tongue because it is such an important time. And having the Cup race back at the having the Super Speedway back open is, it is so good to have that thing back. And it's a big, huge weekend coming up. You've got the Grand Prix that has become just a super event. And I'll be honest with you, part of the success of the Grand Prix was the original 10 years of the Super Speedway.
Right.
When those guys brought in IRL, this was not open wheel territory. And it is so exciting it made a fan out of me, which I didn't think would ever happen.
Oh, exactly. And I was at the IndyCar race out at the Super Speedway, and you watch the stock cars go on it, and it's great. But those Indy cars had so much downforce that on that flatter track that the speeds they were hitting out there was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean 202, 203. My buddy Russ Thompson, who is just a walking encyclopedia.
Well, I think Joe is in a little bit of a bad spot right there. We'll catch him in just a second. And I know he's driving toward Chattanooga today, but you there, Joe? We'll catch him here and get him back connected again in just a second. But as Joe mentioned, he is, or as I mentioned, he is going to be the PA announcer out this week, next weekend out at the Super Speedway. And just to kind of give you a little bit of the timeline of what's going on out there, and there are tickets available at NashvilleSuperspeedway.com. I was checking last night, and there are tickets in different sections along the grandstand, but Joe hit a bad spot there, and I think is back with us now. But you talked about that popularity, and you and I have talked about this before. The rebirth of the Super Speedway, bringing it back to life, was a minor miracle in itself.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, there are so many people who had not just said grace over it, but thrown dirt on the grave and were bringing flowers. But, Dover came in and reopened the thing, and then lo and behold, Speedway Motorsports came in and said, we want that property. And I got to tell you, these guys do it right. I am so looking forward to this weekend. They've had a full year now to start getting this thing up to their standards. And Chip, it is going to be outstanding.
Yeah, I think in all of this, Eric Moses, who was installed as the first president after the rebirth of the Speedway, I mean, here was a guy who had no real racing experience, but man, did he ever do a terrific job of getting it up to speed as he was working for Dover Motorsports at the time. But just to get that, and I mean, everything from ceiling tiles to drywall to, okay, how's the track, and the infield care center to parking and all that. And of course they had some heartburn there a little bit in the first opening year, but what he did was amazing. Now with Speedway Motorsports in there, they've handed it off, a new president, and who does have a vast racing background, kind of get folks up to speed on what Speedway Motorsports is going to bring to the table out at the Super Speedway next weekend.
I was going to say, first off, I can say this now. One of the biggest problems that Eric Moses had was his hands were tied. There were ideas he had, things he wanted to do that he wasn't allowed to. And I think he was tremendously underestimated and underappreciated. Now, having said that, the difference is you've got a new organization who's come in. Matt Greasy has been promoting Charlotte races and running things at Charlotte and some other places for these guys for 15 years. I mean, he could probably forget more in 20 minutes than you and I could ever learn. And it's all the different things. Here's the thing. It's kind of like the Grand Prix. It's more of an event than just a set of 3 races.
Well, exactly, because, I mean, you know, if you're a race fan and you think about what, Bruton Smith and those guys did and Humpy Wheeler over in Charlotte, you just could not wait, not only for the race, but what they were going to do, whether they had the military assault or had the car-eating robot, the transform, whatever, or the guy jumping the buses and all that stuff. So, with that group in charge, there's going to be some fun stuff going on.
Well, and if even if you don't go, I told somebody the other day, even if you don't go to the race, it would be worth going out just to go to the fan zone.
Yeah, that'll be. It was good last year, but it's going to be cranked up. Probably 5 times what it was last year.
Yeah, you've got concerts going on almost constantly. Drivers are coming out to meet and greet, sign autographs. You've got merchandise. You've got games. I mean, it is. I don't want to say it's a carnival atmosphere. That's not quite right, but it is. It's an event atmosphere. Typically, if you really want to be if you want to plan your day, I would look at the race and find out what time the race is set to start, and I would be there 3 hours early.
Well, my plan next Friday is for the 7 o'clock truck race is to get there about 3 o'clock to get in for practice and qualifying and watch the Cup cars practice and the Xfinity cars practice before the Rackley Roofing 200 truck race on Friday night. So, and I'm looking forward to that. I had the good fortune to be down in the pits with Thor Sport Racing last year and plan on doing that again this year. And, you've got the 3 top series of NASCAR coming in, and they handled it well last year. And, I think from the drivers, you pretty much got nothing but high marks for how the track worked. Now we've got, the Cup cars, we're getting used to the new generation car, and how do you think it's going to handle the track this year with the new cars?
I'm really interested. I'm very interested to see how that goes. The racetrack, years ago when it was built and they built it in concrete, there was a lot of discussion about whether this was a good idea or a bad idea. And with the exception of Carl Edwards, Concrete Carl, who dominated along with Kyle Busch in the early years, a lot of folks really didn't care for it. Well, we're 20 years down the road now, and that concrete is really cured and come into its own. And I think we're in for a good race. Kyle Larson kind of stretched things out the first year, but Chase did not. Chase Elliott won last year, and it wasn't easy.
No, it was competitive all night, and one of the and I will admit that during the 3-hour rain delay, I was not there for the finish, but
I understand.
But that was, that was unfortunate for the track that they got saddled with, just a huge thunderstorm that just sat there over the racetrack for about 2 hours, but then they got it cranked back up and got it finished out. So it, that, and I'm like you, I'm kind of an asphalt guy, but the concrete in Nashville, they were questioned when they first built it, but as you said, it has come into its own, and I think makes for a good show. We're going to get a break in here in just a second, but let's talk a little bit about just the 3 series coming in. Give me 30 seconds on your thoughts of who's hot, who's not right now. First of all, in the truck series.
I think both the Smith kids are pretty warm. The Enfinger kid has been fast. I got to be honest with you, I'm pulling hard for Matt DiBenedetto. and the Rackley War Group out of Centerville. Willie Allen kind of runs that organization, and they won in Talladega. It's time to win them another.
Well, I'm a fan of Matt Crafton and his Menards truck, and of course Thor Sport Racing. A lot of folks here may not know that Thor Sport Racing, which has three or four trucks in the Camping World Truck Series, they're in Sandusky, Ohio, and here in Murfreesboro. They have a big farm here in town, so you've got that. The Xfinity Series, sometimes I think it kind of gets a little bit lost in the shuffle, kind of like the middle child that races on Saturday.
Well, and I'll agree with that. And there's there's so many new names in that bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I think what you'll see here is you're going to see some of those youngsters make a name for themselves. If you could, it's one of those, if you can win at Nashville, you can win anywhere deals. Because it is it's a much more technical track with the concrete and some other things. And I'll be honest, I've kind of thrown the Xfinity race out in the open because I have no earthly idea where that thing's going.
Exactly. The Tennessee Lottery 250 will roll off at 2:30 on Saturday, June 24th out at the Speedway, and there are plenty of tickets for that. We're going to get a break in right now, and we'll come back and talk about the Cup Series and all that's going to go on Sunday, and it'll be NBC's first telecast of the year of NASCAR, and also just some of the storylines that are going on in the Cup Series, and there is no shortage of those right now. So Joe Williams, our guest for the next segment. Matt Cruz joins us at 9:40, so stick with us. It's Racing Talk, vroom, 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 right here on the Roundtable on WGNS.
When it comes to your home, memories and sentimental value are priceless. Farrah Construction can remodel your home or can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. That's Farrah Construction. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. I've lived and worked as a lawyer in Middle Tennessee for over 30 years, and to me, every single day has been an honor. That's why our firm is so involved with community programs like bicycle helmet giveaways and our Safe Ride Home program. At the Law Offices of John Day, we're not just looking to make donations. We want to make a difference in the community we hold so dear. And if you're ever injured, know that we are here for you too.
Guys, you may have noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive. Guess what? It could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center, where they now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center or you just need that convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatment. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com right now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
It's a Slick Pig barbecue, spicy wings and Brunswick stew, everything made fresh for you at the Slick Pig barbecue. There's lean smoked turkey and chicken too, ribs so tender don't need to chew. Well, come on folks, I'm telling you, it's a Slick Pig barbecue. In 1920 East Main, you're gonna love the pig.
The Slick Pig Barbecue, a Murfreesboro tradition.
We're talking with Pat Wingo at Adams Place.
You can get as involved or not as you want to. I love the activities. I love the live entertainment. The Adams Place makes fun. I love the card playing. I love the people. I love the staff. I love the food. And there's as much to do as you want to do. I'm blessed.
Hi, this is Terry Deal at Adams Place. Call me for more information about Adams Place. 1927 Memorial Boulevard, across from Walmart.
It's Good Neighbor Events. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control, Cardinal Realty Solutions, and the law offices of John Day.
Cardinal Realty Solutions takes the time to sit down with new buyers or sellers to go over the process for that big transaction.
We had multiple offers thanks to Cardinal Realty Solutions.
Find a realtor you can trust at cardinalrealtysolutions.com.
If you're not waking up to the Wake Up Crew, here's what you've been missing.
But it's not like falling off Mount Everest or something.
Don't miss the Wake Up Crew with John, Brian, and Dalton.
That guy's still falling.
Weekday mornings from 6 until Swap and Shop.
WGNS encourages you to shop locally. That helps our local economy. Also, it's important to listen local. Here's something for the youngsters over at the Center for the Arts. Shrek the Musical. It's going on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, now through the 25th. Oh, and don't miss the Juneteenth Festival from 10 o'clock Saturday morning until 4 in the afternoon. The Juneteenth Festival is at the Bradley Academy Museum and Cultural Center. Don't forget, this coming weekend is the final one for Wedding Dresses Across Decades and Cultures. That ends this Sunday, and it's over at the Women's Club of Murfreesboro. It runs Fridays and Saturdays from 10 until 5, and Sunday from 1 until 5. The admission is $15. The Women's Club of Murfreesboro is at 221 West College Street. Again, it wraps up this weekend. WGNS encourages you to send in your Good Neighbor events, and we'll be happy to put them on the air and on our website for you as a community service. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Good Neighbor weather. We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms here for this afternoon. Partial sunshine develops a high in the mid-80s. Tonight, slight chance for rain and storms, a low near 61. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 70.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios, MTE Sharing Change has now donated more than $11 million to local nonprofits assisting worthy causes in our community. MTE, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Wednesday Roundtable. Today we're talking racing, and just confirmed next week we're going to be talking with a couple of guys, and I'm just going to kind of leave it out there that have coached Little League in this town for a combined 100 years. So we're going to take a little trip down memory lane with those guys, and I think if you have been around here for a while, you can figure out those two guys pretty quickly. Joe Williams is with us for the remainder of the hour. Matt Cruz of the Music City Grand Prix will join us around 9:40. But we had talked a little bit about the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. The Cup Series is obviously the highest level, and right now a very competitive Cup Series points race. Martin Truex, William Byron, Blaney's out there. Ross Chastain has been making his mark. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, all in that 500. They're all within about 25, 30 points of each other right at the top. And those guys, I mean, you look at what William Byron has done, 3 wins, 7 top 10s in 16 races, and is still not in first place in the points right now, Joe. But it's been super competitive, and I think a lot of this, the new car has, continued. They continue to get used to that, and I think for the most part, I mean, they've had their problems on short tracks, but intermediates and super speedways, the new car's been something else.
Yeah, it's been good, and you're right. Ross Chastain has made his mark. Just ask anybody. I'm listening to that list of names. The thing about the Cup Series is this car has really balanced out the field. And NASCAR has been very clear about being serious. I mean, in some cases, almost death penalty serious about don't mess with it.
Well, and evening it out, basically, single suppliers on all these pre-approved parts and things. That was kind of the case to keep costs down, and also from a competitive standpoint to make it a level playing field. Correct?
Yeah, and I think some of the teams would argue that that as a cost saver, it hasn't been what they had hoped. But I think as a method of creating competition, it's been pretty darn good.
Absolutely.
It is truly put things back in the hands of the driver. And it's, somebody said the other day, it's no longer about innovate, it's about execute.
Well, that's
Bruce
well,
got it.
Yeah, that's well said. And but as we kind of alluded to a little bit, it has doesn't have anything necessarily to do with the car, but there's not been any shortage of drama and little mini feuds within the Cup Series this year. And hooking somebody's right rear quarter panel has become the play of the day.
Well, it had been the play of the day before. They're just watching it a little closer right now. And I think part of that is there are still some issues, or at least the drivers feel like, there's still some safety issues with this new car. And so any kind of unnecessary crash puts them at risk. And I think NASCAR's paying attention to that. Behind the scenes, they're doing some things to try to change some things to hopefully make this car a little safer. But what's happening on the racetrack, and this is Saturday night short track racing stuff, baby, and that is, when the competition is that tough, two things happen. One, you run closer and you touch and things happen by accident. Two, you run closer, you touch, you get mad, and things happen that weren't accidents.
Right, exactly. And for a couple of the drivers out there who have gotten themselves in a hole, sometimes the best way to get out is to quit digging. And there's a couple of them out there who just haven't figured that part out yet, but maybe they will. As they get ready to come to Nashville, you've had Chase Elliott's been out, now he's back. Of course, you had Bubba Wallace, who was out. Now he's back. Everything's moving along. With obviously Kyle Busch has had a good year, and you've already talked a little bit about how he's been good at Nashville for a long time. Chase Elliott won it last year. Who would you handicap in the field? Who would you put in your trifecta to do well and be on a podium at the Super Speedway next weekend?
Yeah, it's funny. If I can pick three,
yeah,
I'll take Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson.
That's pretty good. I'll tell you, Kyle Larson was really good last year, and he's and he does such a good job of holding his line on the racetrack. And if you just watch him, he's very, very good at that. So, I'm excited to see these guys get out there. And again, tickets are there's not a ton of tickets available for Sunday, but there are tickets available, and you can get them off NashvilleSuperspeedway.com, and for as little as $11, I think, on some of the auxiliary bleachers, and then there are tickets available in the main seating area along the front stretch, and it is a ticket that I know that's one thing that the SMS people always want to do is they want to make sure you feel like you left there with good value for your ticket price.
Well, and they take care of kids. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you: if you think, man, I really don't want to be out late Sunday night. It's a Sunday night, blah, 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 blah. I get that. Then you need to take a look at spending your Friday night out there, because this truck race will be a heck of a race. And tickets are extremely reasonable.
Yes, they are.
It's a 200-mile race, so it's not going to be like 133 laps. The Craftsman trucks will take care of that, and it will be a great experience. And if you've never been to a NASCAR race, or you've never been to National Super Speedway, that might be an option to get your feet wet. Because I'm telling you, there's not. I'm looking at this thing, and I don't think there's a bad race. Sometimes, look, Chip, sometimes you can look at what's coming and just go, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone into races at some places and just went, man, how am I going to make this thing sound exciting? What am I going to do to try to keep the crowd and everybody happy and built up? I don't have that problem this weekend because every day is going to be that good.
Oh yeah, and each one will stand on its own very well. But you're right. Friday afternoon, Friday night is a ton of fun. The trucks are great. They're basically the same size chassis as what the Cup cars, or at least it used to be before you got the next gen car. It was the same. It was the same frame, and but they get after it for sure, and that is a very reasonable ticket price. Matt, I think Matt Cruz has joined us. We'll get him in just a few minutes. But as we talked about at the top, our pal Norm Parton was going to be with us, but he is, I think Jerry Caldwell from Bristol Motor Speedway is in town today, and so kind of give me from your perspective where all this stands, because we had a little it seemed like everything was going right along to have the Bristol folks take over the Fairgrounds Speedway. Everything was moving right along, and then John Ingram got involved last week and has kind of thrown a little bit of a monkey wrench into where things stand right now. So Joe, kind of give us a little thought of where you are and where you think this thing is going right now.
Well, I don't think it's a monkey wrench. I think it was a last-ditch effort to protect money. Here's the deal. The Fairgrounds has been active for 70 years or better. As a racetrack back in the days of horses, I mean, it's the second oldest racetrack in the country. The partnership that Bristol brought forward and offered was really pretty simple, and that is a 30-year lease, and we're going to build this thing into a world-class facility. And here's how. There's no real money out of there's no money out of taxpayer dollars. And they're ready to go. This thing has been going, Chip, for probably 6 years or better. Really thought it would have been done 3 years ago, but then we had things like tornadoes and COVID and all this stuff that slowed things down. So, I mean, it is a fantastic deal for the city. It's a fantastic deal for Middle Tennessee. It's a fantastic deal for race fans. And I know that the partnership has been presented. Council couldn't do anything with it because they're in the middle of budget. So I think first reading will probably be in July, second in August, hopefully third in September, and it's done. But here's the cold fact.
Yeah.
And that is, Bristol's willing to come in and do $130, $140 million of improvements. If this deal doesn't happen, then Metro is on the hook to upgrade the facility. And that's a minimum $45 million. So let's see. Do we want a $130 million improvement that costs us nothing, or do we want to pay $45 million out of taxpayer coffers? I think it's really a simple question.
So there it is. There's as Stone Cold would say, that's the bottom line. And because Joe Williams said so. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Matt Cruz is in the bullpen. He will be joining us, and we're going to take the fenders off, and we're going to talk about the upcoming Music City Grand Prix. That'll be the first weekend of August as our racing roundtable continues here on WGNS.
Looking for a charming home close to downtown and MTSU? Look no further than this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 0-lot line at 1341 Sharon Court. This home features a spacious living room, an open kitchen, and a primary suite on the main floor. It could be perfect for a family or a couple who wants to live in the middle of everything while still in a private neighborhood. Call for a showing today, 615-542-1915. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
Del Walmsley and the Wealth Cycle.
This is the wealth cycle that I've taught for 30 years. Buy one house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Del's Wealth Cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2023. Save 60%. Code 2023. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-826-9895. That's 800-826-9895. 800-826-9895.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Hi, this is Bob Cornell, pastor of Covenant Church right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The answer that you've been looking for is found in Jesus and what he accomplished at the cross. You see, Jesus changes lives from the inside out. We would love for you to join us at Covenant Church, located at 1124 Brinkley Ave right here in Murfreesboro. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You can learn more about us at our Cornell Ministries YouTube channel. We want you to grow in Christ at Covenant Church.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Wednesday Roundtable. Chip Walters here with you. Joe Williams, who has been with us the entire hour, is traveling somewhere along I-24, and happy to welcome in the Chief Executive Officer of the Music City Grand Prix, our good friend Matt Cruz. And Matt, how you doing this morning?
Lovely. How are you this beautiful morning?
I'm doing good, and I don't want to jump into the racing before I just make mention. You and I lost a really good friend last week in Matt Riley, and we had our memorial on Friday for him. And you being a former Blue Raiders student athlete, I'm not sure people understand how much a strength coach how much they can have an effect on a young man or a young lady as they go through college.
Yeah, Matt was as a freshman arriving from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. I think I was 5'6", 120 pounds, and Matt Riley. My first impression was the biggest human being I'd ever seen in person in my life.
That's right.
But he was just a teddy bear, and he was just one of the sweetest humans I've ever met. And you're right. I mean, I was fortunate enough to give the commencement speech at MTSU a few weeks back, and a big topic of it was the people like Matt Riley. Doc Crease is probably the most influential person in my life. Strength coaches, there's just a different bond between, and I love every football coach I've ever played for, but the amount of time and you spend with a strength coach and the amount of the struggles you go through, but physically demanding, times that you spend with them, they're just, they're larger than life. And we were fortunate enough to, sorry with Matt's passing, I guess the one bright side, obviously, he's in a better place, but last weekend was the MTSU football reunion. So many of my era Blue Raiders were back in town. So for them to be there, them to be able to take part of the festivities Friday, and then Matt was there in spirit, obviously for the 3 weekends of activities that Barry Benham and those guys do an incredible job of putting this reunion together every year. So it It was great to reconnect with that group. Obviously wish it would have been, happier circumstance, but Matt was, he was a gentle giant, I guess is the only way to really describe him.
Yeah, he was, and very well said. Joe Williams is on with us, and one of the things we talked about early, and Matt, is that here we're jumping in next week into a 6-week period where racing is the highlight of the sports landscape here in Middle Tennessee. They'll kick it off next weekend at the Super Speedway. You guys will bring it down the first weekend of August in Nashville. And how exciting is that synergy with all of that going on?
I mean, Nashville, again, it's just Nashville. I tell people on a daily basis, Nashville is the best event city in the world. And to book in a summer with two of the top racing series in the world, it allows us to show Nashville to a bigger platform, to a bigger stage than most events. And Nashville delivers. Nashville is the Nashville hospitality community truly delivers. And as I tell our team all the time, it's our job not to mess it up, because people are going to have a great time when they come to town. And we've even kind of expanded our offering this year to have more of a connectivity with the downtown business district and the downtown honky district, where all of our 3-day pass holders have a wristband that gets in a fast pass into every honky tonk into downtown. The majority of honky tonks in downtown, our ticket holders will have priority access to. So that's just a statement of, we have this incredible hospitality community here. So how do we take our event and don't push against it, but ingrain with it, because they do it 365 days a year. We just have to deliver 3 days a year. So the more connectivity we can have with that, with that group of professionals, the better experience is going to be for our fans.
Yeah, and the product that is on television is just incredible, and obviously you want people there in person, but the job that NBC does on that race with that layout, it is spectacular, and the views of the cars coming across the bridge is just unbelievable.
Well, and I tell several people, our first race was the most watched IndyCar race in cable TV history. We were broadcast in 180 countries, and for various reasons, we had some slow race, a little bit of delays. But as the sun was setting and our race finished, and being broadcast in 180 countries, the optics of the cars, the sun setting on downtown, I don't think this city's ever had a better postcard than that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Monday Night Football is one thing, and that view at the stadium, but that you're right. The cars coming across that bridge and at twilight was terrific.
Spectacular.
What does Joseph Newgarden winning the Indy 500 do for your event?
Well, let me step back. Just as a friend,
yeah,
I was incredibly happy for Joseph.
Oh, my gosh. Has there ever been a more popular winner in the last 10, 15 years of Indy than Joseph?
For right or wrong, there's so much emphasis put on being a Indy 500 champion. Joseph's a 2-time champion. He's a Hall of Famer, whether he wins the Indy 500 or not. But for him to deliver the 500 win was great. And it's great for us. It's great. I mean, there's so much. I mean, first of all, IndyCar racing's never been better. We've had 7 winners in 7 races. The racing's absolutely incredible. But Joseph winning is unbelievable. One of the top hot drivers, not just in IndyCar, but probably the next American to go to Formula One, has relocated to Nashville with Colton Herta being here now. I mean, this is becoming more and more of a synergistic area for IndyCar. So yeah, I think incredibly pumped for Joseph. I think it does wonders for our event, but just the overall competitiveness of IndyCar this year is unmatched. It's unrivaled in any other form of motorsports right now. So they're going into Road America this weekend, and we very well may have our 8th winner in 8 races coming in after this weekend.
Yeah, Joe Williams is I think still online with us. Joe, you have anything for Matt?
I'm honored just to be on the same airways with him. Are you kidding me?
Just three MTSU guys here just chatting, right?
Yeah, but I mean, no, the job that Matt Cruz and Scott Borchetta and Jason Rittenberry and all the guys have done, Matt, one of the things I keep harping on is that when the Bristol deal at the fairgrounds goes through, you'll have a super speedway race, you'll have a short track race, and you'll have the Grand Prix. Nashville just became the racing mecca of the world. And if I were to dream a dream, it would have those 3 and then have IndyCar come back to the super speedway 4 races, and when that happens, nobody remembers Charlotte or Indianapolis.
No, for sure. I mean, again, Nashville, it's just Nashville does it better. I hate to keep harping on that, but Nashville does it better. And as a city, we're just the best event city in America. I mean, you look at what we do with fireworks and and New Year's Eve. It's just a great event city. Geographically, it's great. We know how to throw a party.
No question about that.
It's funny. Yeah, Ty Norris spoke yesterday at a press conference for everybody for next week, and that's exactly what I mean. You guys are just echoing the same things. That it's Nashville, and I made the comment to Chip that the great thing about the Super Speedway and the Cup Race weekend is it's an event, but you guys do an event. One's an event, you guys do an event, and the thing that got me, it was so fan friendly.
Well, and I don't want to toot our own horn, but and we don't want to take complete credit for it. But I mean, you look at the change specifically as IndyCar since our event. I mean, Detroit moved directly to a street race, which they pulled off their first one last week, which was great. We're not the first person ever done a street race, but the ingraining of music and entertainment into a downtown street race. I think we're the catalyst for a lot of these things. Little known fact: we as a company. We're doing the NASCAR race in Chicago in 3 weeks, the downtown street race. We're actually doing the track build. So a lot of the infrastructure assets that you see that builds our track are heading up I-65 towards Chicago as we speak. Because I think we have shown that, taking a track to where the people are and where the energy is it's not easy, but it's not impossible. So I think you'll see more and more of that. I think you'll see a lot of one-offs of, would it be cool to race? Would it be cool to race around Churchill Downs? I mean, I'm using that as an example, but there's there's just imagination is the only limiting factor right now to where you can go pull on a great motorsports event.
Now look, in obviously the IndyCar race on Sunday afternoon or Sunday midday is the highlight of this, but as Joe, as you both mentioned, the full entertainment package how many different series of race, I want to say cars, but vehicles, because you've got the super trucks coming in, how many different types of racing are folks going to be able to see over the weekend?
Well, 5 different classes, but we've got some highlights this year. I mean, obviously the trucks have been from day one, have been, one of our most popular events. So we'll enhance that this year. There may be some very familiar names running the truck race this year that we hope to be able to announce here in the next couple of weeks. But running the SRO race at night this year, so to have a Saturday night race, I mean, the bridge, the sparks, the colors of downtown will be absolutely spectacular. And then kicking off, Sunday morning with an 11:20, green flag for the IndyCar race. I mean, we're about fan experience, and to move our race into a better temperature time of the day, a better TV time nationally too, with that noon Eastern time block is better as well. But to move to a better start time, I mean, to some of the music offerings around this year, we really, really exceeded everything we've ever done from a music point of view this year. Again, the night race will be spectacular. The Trans Am Series has been one of our most competitive races for the last several years. So large field of cars at the Trans Am race this year, and then seeing the IndyCar stars of the future with the Indy Next Series. So a lot of racing. But the IndyCar guys, I mean, the product they're putting on the track this year is spectacular. We can't wait to get them on the streets of Nashville.
I know you have walked every inch of the track and have looked at and have kind of taken a look at the track and the course from every set of bleachers there is. Let's say somebody's making their first trip to an IndyCar race and to the Grand Prix in Nashville. What's going to be their best buy for a ticket to see the most of what's going on?
Well, we always encourage people. I mean, our model is always a 3-day ticket model.
Right.
It's funny. We don't go on sale with single days typically to the last week in July. And it's funny, the first day that single days tickets go on sale, our 3-day numbers go through the roof because people start looking at the true value of what that 3-day gets you. But yeah, 3-day reserve grandstand, again, it doesn't tie you to that seat. You're still able to take in, dozens of music, concerts throughout the weekend. I always encourage, a 3-day reserve and, in grandstand 4, 5, or 6, great views, but don't tie yourself to that seat. Walk around, enjoy the property, enjoy the different experiences, great food offerings, great. We're bringing a slice of downtown Nashville to our fan zone this year. That we'll be announcing pretty soon, but also that 3-day ticket gets you that fast pass into the downtown honky tonks, which who would have dreamed 10 years ago, you can't just walk into any bar in downtown, but if you're down there on a weekend right now, the lines to get into some of these venues can be pretty significant. So to be able to walk to the front of those lines is also important, which that 3-day ticket allows you to do this year.
That club area that you have that's inside Nissan Stadium is pretty special.
Yeah, East Club is spectacular. We've got 2 new clubs. Well, East Club, we'll hit on that. Spectacular offering, indoor, incredible views of the track, but 3-day all-inclusive, food and beverage is great. We've also built what we call Club 9, which is a similar experience. It's a reserved grandstand ticket, but behind it, we've built a private club down in Turn 9. And Turn 9 has kind of, over 2 years, it's branded itself as probably the most exciting corner in IndyCar racing. It is, it's at the end of one of the longest straightaways in IndyCar racing as the cars scream from downtown all the way back into East Nashville. And, they narrow down from 6 lanes to 3 or 4 at that point in time. And they do it right most of the time, but some of the times they don't do it right. And it can lead to plenty of action down there. So that club has been incredibly popular. It's a great $850 value for a 3-day reserve ticket with all you can eat food and beverage. And if you're like me, you can eat $850 food and beverage in 3 days pretty easy. So,
Joe, we've got about 3 minutes left with Matt. Give your final shot here.
Oh, my final shot is very simply, Matt, if you need any extra PA help, Chip has my number. But because, again, you're right. Chip, you're right. We're in a 6-week stretch that, for my heart, it just doesn't get any better.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I'm one thing I've been waiting for Joe and I to be able to do, because Joe will be doing PA all next weekend out at the Super Speedway, and Joe and I have done a lot of things together, but we hadn't done racing together, and I want to make that happen at some point.
My only concern, guys, would be 2 MTSU guys trying to get through the names of the IndyCar schedule. I'm not sure about that.
That's right. Exactly.
We don't have a lot of Smiths and Jones over there, so.
Exactly right.
I learned that years ago when they showed up at the Super Speedway, and I can't remember his first name, but I know we made Malcolm West, my partner at the time, and I made the comment that you can't have a race in Nashville without a Bubba. So we affectionately gave a certificate and created Bubba Giafone.
Nice.
There you go.
There's a guy this year named Stingray Rob. That would be a hard one to forget. So.
Stingray Rob. Be looking for that. Hey, Matt, in our last couple minutes, and you alluded to it, here we are, 3 MTSU guys. When you came in and got this going, you had some tie-ins with the university and with Concrete Industry Management, which has been, I think, kind of industry changing in what they helped you come up with, and also through the Charlie and Hazel Daniels Veterans and Family Center. Those were important things for you.
Yeah, if you look at the Chicago Street Race coming up, the Detroit Street Race, Miami, Vegas, the MTSU concrete program has their hands in those events from day one. And then obviously the relationship with the Charlie and Hazel Daniel Foundation. Our partners have really embraced that. I've got to be extremely close with General Huber, and there will be a significant donation made to that program this year as part of partnership with one of our new partners, and that makes me incredibly proud. So that cannot say enough nice things. If you look actually at some of the creative around town and some of the TV commercials now, we have some blended commercials with MTSU, both billboard and TV, running as we speak. So incredibly proud to. Again, always proud to be a Blue Raider, but proud that what this event does to highlight our university, but then truly, generate real dollars back to some very important parts there. MusicCityGP.com, where you can get all the information on all the ticket and entertainment packages. Matt, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, and same for you, Joe. Appreciate you guys coming on today.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it. Matt Cruz, the CEO of the Music City Grand Prix, Joe Williams, our racing insider. Appreciate both of them joining us. We're going to be talking Little League Baseball next week right here, and Brian Barrett standing by right after the news for more right here on the Big G, WGNS. Have a great week, everybody.